Adora and Chinyu, two cousins, grew up in Yumiya's under the care of their grandparents. Their parents had died in a tragic accident when they were young, leaving the girls to rely on each other for everything. They were so close that villagers often joked they were twins, even though Adora was tall and bold, while Chinyu was petite and shy. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Chinyu whispered, "Adora, promise me we'll never be apart." Adora smiled and squeezed her hand. Never. No matter what. But their grandparents had other plans, and the girls could sense a storm brewing. Their grandparents invited Mom and Kechi, the village matchmaker, to find suitable husbands for the girls. Adora and Chinyu overheard the conversation and exchanged panicked looks. "We can't let this happen," Adora said, her eyes narrowing with determination. That night, the girls hatched a plan. They decided to act so strangely that no man would ever want to marry them. Chinyu giggled as Adora practiced her crazy laugh, but deep down, they both felt a pang of fear. What if their plan failed? The next day, Emeka, a wealthy farmer's son, came to visit. Adora greeted him with a wild grin and spoke in riddles, while Chinyu pretended to be mute, communicating only through exaggerated gestures. Emeka left in confusion, muttering about bewitched girls. Their grandparents were furious. "What is wrong with you two?" their grandfather shouted. But the girls just shrugged and exchanged secret smiles. They had won this round, but they knew more suitors would come. To calm their nerves, Adora and Chinyu decided to take a bath together in the backyard. They laughed and splashed water, forgetting their troubles for a moment. But their grandmother caught them and scolded, "You're too old for this. What will people say?" That night, Chinyu whispered, "Do you think we're wrong for wanting to stay together?" Adora shook her head.
No.
"We're not wrong. We're just different." But their grandmother's words lingered in their minds, planting seeds of doubt. A stranger arrived in Yumiya's, claiming to be a distant relative. He was charming and handsome, and the villagers were intrigued. But Adora felt uneasy. "There's something off about him," she told Chinyu. The stranger took a particular interest in the girls, asking too many questions about their parents. Chinyu noticed his piercing gaze and shivered. "Adora, what if he's not who he says he is?" While cleaning the house, Chinyu found a hidden letter addressed to their grandparents. It mentioned their parents' accident and a secret that had been buried for years. She showed it to Adora, and they both felt a chill run down their spines. "We need to find out the truth," Adora said. But their grandparents caught them with the letter and snatched it away. "Some things are better left buried," their grandfather said sternly. That night, Adora and Chinyu sneaked out of the house to meet Ngozi, the village storyteller who had known their parents. Ngozi's hut was dimly lit, and her voice was low as she warned, "Your parents' accident wasn't an accident. Be careful who you trust." As they left Ngozi's hut, they noticed a shadow following them. Adora grabbed Chinyu's hand and whispered, "Run." They sprinted through the moonlit village, their hearts pounding, until they reached the safety of their home. The next morning, the mysterious stranger approached them with a proposition. "I can take you to the city, where you'll have a better life," he said, his smile too wide to be genuine. Adora narrowed her eyes. "Why would you care about us?" Chinyu tugged at Adora's sleeve. "Let's go," she whispered. But as they walked away, the stranger called out, "You'll regret this." His words sent a shiver down their spines. Determined to uncover the truth, Adora and Chinyu searched their grandparents' room while they were at the market. They found an old photograph of their parents with a man who looked eerily like the stranger. On the back, it read, "The debt remains unpaid." Before they could investigate further, they heard footsteps. They barely had time to hide the photo before their grandparents walked in. "What are you doing here?" their grandmother asked, her voice sharp. The next day, rumors spread through the village about the stranger's true intentions. Some said he was a debt collector, while others claimed he was a relative seeking revenge. Adora and Chinyu listened intently, piecing together fragments of the story. One woman mentioned a fire that had destroyed a house years ago, killing the family inside. But one child survived, she said, lowering her voice. Adora and Chinyu exchanged a look. Could the stranger be that child? That night, Adora had a dream about a key hidden under the old mango tree in their backyard. She woke Chinyu, and together they dug under the tree until they found a rusty key. "What does it open?" Chinyu asked, her voice trembling. They searched the house for a lock that matched the key. Finally, they found a small, hidden compartment in their grandparents' wardrobe. Inside was a stack of letters and a deed to a piece of land. The letters revealed a bitter land dispute between their parents and a man named Obina, the stranger's father. Obina had accused their parents of stealing his land, and the feud had ended in tragedy. Chinyu gasped. "So the stranger is here to take the land?" Adora nodded grimly. "And he'll do whatever it takes to get it." Confronted with the evidence, their grandparents finally confessed. "We tried to protect you," their grandfather said, tears in his eyes. "But the past has a way of catching up with us." Their grandmother added, "The land is yours now. But be careful. Obina's son won't stop until he gets what he wants." The next day, the stranger confronted them openly. "Hand over the land, or you'll regret it," he snarled. Adora stood her ground. "It's ours, and we're not giving it up." That night, they heard a noise outside. Peeking through the window, they saw the stranger and a group of men digging near the mango tree. "What are they looking for?" Chinyu whispered. The girls decided to investigate. They waited until the men left and then searched the hole. Inside, they found a small metal box containing a will that proved the land belonged to their parents. But before they could celebrate, they heard footsteps. The stranger was back, and this time, he wasn't alone. Adora grabbed Chinyu's hand, and they sprinted through the dark village, clutching the metal box. The stranger and his men were close behind, their shouts echoing through the night. "We can't let them catch us," Adora panted. They ducked into Ngozi's hut, hoping for safety. Ngozi quickly hid them under a pile of woven mats. "Stay quiet," she whispered. The men burst in moments later, demanding to know where the girls were. Once the men left, Adora and Chinyu opened the metal box and read the will. It not only confirmed their ownership of the land, but also revealed that their parents had hidden a valuable artifact there, a golden statue of their ancestors. "This is why he wants the land," Chinyu whispered. "He's after the statue." Adora nodded. "We need to find it before he does." The will mentioned a hidden shrine near the river where the statue was buried. The girls set out at dawn, careful to avoid the stranger and his men. The shrine was overgrown with vines, but they could feel its ancient power. As they dug, they heard voices approaching. "Hurry," Adora urged. They uncovered the statue just as the stranger appeared, his eyes gleaming with greed. The stranger lunged for the statue, but Adora held it out of reach. "This belongs to our family," she said firmly. Chinyu stood beside her, clutching a stick for protection. Just as the stranger was about to strike, the villagers arrived, led by their grandparents and Ngozi. "Leave them alone," their grandfather shouted. The stranger hesitated, then fled into the forest. With the statue safe and the stranger gone, Adora and Chinyu decided to use its value to help the village. They built a school and a clinic, ensuring that their parents' legacy would live on. As they stood by their parents' graves, Adora took Chinyu's hand. "We did it," she said softly. Chinyu smiled. "Together, we can do anything."